Hey Cancer, I hope that you're all doing well. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot for this reading. The first card that we have out is Six of Wands. This is looking like an accomplishment. But I'm also seeing 10 of Wands following this, so it can mean that you are doing what needs to be done and accomplishing what needs to be accomplished, but you can feel like you're bearing the weight of whatever that requires of you, and it can feel like a really heavy load to be carrying right now. And that can be pushing you into a place where, I don't know, maybe it brings you to a space where you're thinking about things and what you want to do. Like, I'm making this work, but it's a lot. And so it's not really a question of whether you can do this or not. It can more so be like, maybe this level of exertion is uncomfortable, and it can be putting you in a place where, like, do I want to keep taking this on? Do I want to keep doing that? Or do I maybe want to pivot here? So I think just because of that, so yeah, it comes out at a time when this is more about like your own preferences here and whether or not this is something that you maintain, that you want to maintain. It's not a matter of whether you can or not, because I'm definitely seeing you get it done and do whatever this is that you need to do. I'm seeing like things going well for you, but there can be this question of like, do I want to continue doing things in that way? Is there maybe like somewhere that I want to like switch things up? Possibly. You know, it can put you into a place of contemplating if this is really like what you want and this is really how you want to be doing things. You know, if this is, maybe look at this, you're like, I don't know that this is like essentially something that I want to be maintaining. But also too, maybe for others of you, you'll be like, no, because of what I'm accomplishing, it is worth it to me, so I am going to keep doing it. For others of you, you can look at this and be like, I think that it's too much. I'm like not really comfortable with what this is requiring of me. Then you may do something else. It's really just about what you decide about this. So it can be a time of assessment overall. For some of you guys, this Two of Wands is looking even like moving from one place to another. Like I'm seeing somebody in a room, but it looks very barren. And so whether this be like a physical transition that's being made, or it be like a migration of some sort, you're thinking about like packing up and like switching over to something else, or there's like a rotation of some sort. There's something that's going on that feels like you're at this point where there's going to be a next phase of things that you're moving to, and right now there can be something that's being like cleared up or something that's being packed up, or this can be like landing in a place and you have to like unpack now. I see something about like packing and unpacking that's connected with this. And there can even be plans to travel for some of you guys too. It can be something that you're thinking about. I see this can be connected with just a number of choices that you're making. For some of you guys, this can be a work thing. For others of you guys, this can be a relationship thing. But it comes down to choices. And maybe actually a big choice that's coming up. I'm seeing Gemini, and I'm also seeing Aquarius here. Something about that being significant. Okay, yeah. So I'm seeing you working really, really, really hard. I am seeing your hard work definitely be paying off. So that's where we begin with the reading. Yeah, some of you guys, I'm getting something specifically with like a transition or a move that's happening, where I see something even look like there's, this may be a completion of some sort that's happening. But it could be completing a step where there's like something larger at play. So it may not, this doesn't feel like a whole entire process is completed necessarily, but it can be a step or like a level or something like that that's been accomplished now. Even if this was like a smaller goal, something like that. So you definitely see your hard work pay off overall. Then next we have the Ten of Wands, and I kind of get like the next phase of things maybe requiring you to do some type of movement. Ten of Wands is even feeling like an inconvenience of some sort to me, or just kind of got to like pack it up and be moving things now. So there can be something associated with that where it's like, okay, I did this thing over here. Like for some of you guys, this even reminds me of being like a traveling like performer, that you're doing something, or like traveling nurse or something like that. It feels like showing up somewhere and doing what you need to do. You like did the show and now you're going to be transitioning over to the next place. It's like you got to pack everything up. Now the transition has to be made. And for some of you guys, that can be literally. For others of you, that can be more so metaphor for something that's being worked on. But I see something that looks like it's been completed in a way, and then it's about moving to the next phase of things. But this can be something that you've been doing for a while, where you can be feeling tired of this. This doesn't look like it's my first night, I completed what I needed to complete, now I'm going to be jumping on a plane and going somewhere else, and I still feel really excited about this. That Ten of Wands can be when you're like, we've been doing this for so long. It's like the get up, the rinse and repeat thing again and again and again. And you can be thinking about like, what am I going to be doing after this? So this can be something that's coming up. Like maybe you're wanting something that feels more stable for you, and whatever this is that's been happening, I feel like you have to do a lot of movement. But this can be like you've been doing these movements repeatedly again and again and again. And it can be very stressful, but it can also, I'm seeing it be stressful to do and like really difficult to maintain this amount of like exertion of energy, almost to the point where you can be like, I feel like this is bringing me to the brink of maybe like my capacity here to do this. But I'm also seeing that whatever you get in return for participating in this, I am seeing it be worth it to you. So this isn't one of those times where you're being worked really hard and it's not even worth it. You're being worked hard and I'm seeing it be worth it to you. Like I'm seeing it be fair, but the question can be like, how are you feeling about that? That type of intensity. Maybe that's also just part of this too, but maybe it's pushing you into a space where you're thinking about that, like how you actually feel about this. Like now that you're in the middle of this and you're really getting a feel for what this is, like what do you think about that? And are you assessing anything and feeling like anything may need to change here? Because some of you guys can even be coming up on the end of a very long journey that you've been on. For some of you guys, I'm getting school or like a program being involved in this. I'm seeing Virgo coming out here. Yeah, just being in a space where you're thinking about things like, where are we going to next? What's going to be happening? I'm seeing you even getting some alone time here. Some of you guys, something that's on your mind can be relationships. This is something that you can be thinking about. Relationships, you can be thinking about another person or other people. maybe even what's come of all of this. Some of you guys can also be reflecting on the relationships that have been built through this process. Ones that have maybe had like a really great influence on you, or kind of cultivated things that you've wanted within your life too. That can be something. Okay, so now there's overall a question of what's happening moving forward, looking at that. Hearing out of the ordinary. I'm also seeing the Empress and I'm seeing Seven of Wands. This is the energy that we're ending with. I see this feeling protective of, I'm hearing what's incarnated. I'm seeing this more so be connected with what has developed and what is on its way, but maybe not totally here yet. So it can be what you're in the process of completing right now. Having us end with the Empress and the Seven of Wands feels like I'm going to be carrying this process to term, and this is what feels right to me. There can also be a feeling overall of you being where you're supposed to be, having the star there, but this can be something about the way that you're going about doing things. So maybe it's not about the path. Maybe the path has like already been decided upon in your mind, and this is more so about the way that you are going about doing things. Ten of Wands is connected with Judgment. Judgment is connected with Pluto. This can be a lot of stuff that's been being broken down, a lot of intensity, a lot of shifting, a lot of coming and going. You know, like Pluto can be connected with this like level of instability and changes that happen, that we like grow through these changes. But having Ten of Wands and having Judgment can be a lot of intense change that you've been going through, a lot of situations evolving, a lot of development that's happening, and it can feel very heavy. Like there's so much shedding and there's so much learning and there's so much growing. And so you can see this as being a period within your life where there's been a mass amount of development, of understanding, of growing, of learning, of changing, of the metamorphosis that you've been going through. Having Empress and Seven of Wands, having us end with that feels like I'm definitely not done with this. There's still more that's happening, but you can just be at a point where maybe you're reflecting on the intensity of all of this and really like the amount of energy that this requires of you. And it can be something that it really does require a whole lot of energy. And for some of you guys, it's like, it's about something that you've coupled up with having the Lovers here. So it can be a project, it can be a person, it can be a degree that you're getting. It's going to be something that you, and this can be multiple things within your life too. It's just something that's been chosen, and there can be a reflection on the choices that you've made. Seeing Gemini and seeing Hermit connecting here, Gemini and Virgo connecting here, and then we also have Aquarius, and we have Venus, and we have Pluto as well in the mix of everything. So with that energy of the Hermit, it's going to be a time when we are thinking about things, when we are pausing for a moment to really sit with stuff, to look at it. It can also be a time when you are like looking at the big picture, when you're looking to the past, seeing where you are now, looking to the future, using this all as a frame of reference for kind of where you're going and what's happening. Then also having the Lovers and having Nine of Pentacles, there can be something here that's really important about you making choices that lead to further empowerment for you within your life, and feeling good about what you're doing and being informed as well, as that's very important as we connect with the Lovers too. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Some of you guys can, within a relationship, a choice, something that you care about, there can be some something about a choice or a review. But this can also, for some of you guys, it can be, let's say, like a relationship or like a program or something that you have currently going on. For others of you, this can be about the future. So it can be about moving forward. What type of relationship do I want, or like what direction do I want my career to go in? It's going to be something about a choice that's going to be made, and basically like what you're pairing up with. Whether this be a person, or it be a study, or it be whatever. Anything that can be tied with a choice here. And there can also be a focus on there being a level of enjoyment, and that is also necessary. So this can even be like, it's important for me to have certain types of relationships in my life, because without those things, I feel like I don't have enough fuel for maybe like other things in other areas of my life. So I see something about needing to make choices that cultivate like this basin of energy that you have, of like love and of joy and of support and empowerment and the things that you need, that then you can use that to build and to move forward and keep developing what it is that you're about right now. And I do also see a lot about kind of getting higher up and looking at things and connecting with something higher, and then being guided by that, and then kind of coming back into 3D and making choices that are reflective of this like alignment that you're connecting with. And it can too be about the life that you're building. Yeah, I see this stuff that you've been doing right now, it feels like it may be putting a strain on, it can be putting a strain on you physically, it can be putting a strain on you, it can be like physically, it can be with your diet or your health, it can be with like in your personal life, within your personal relationships, these sorts of things, at home. Interesting. So maybe all of this is bringing you to the point of looking at something and feeling like, even though you can get what you want from this, like you can make this cycle work, there can be a question of whether or not that feels right to you. Like the energy that I was seeing in the beginning of this thing, where it's like, it asks a lot of you, but you are given back what you need in order to make it worth it to you. But there can be a question about the sustainability of this, you know, like it can be something that's demanding in a way where you're like, I don't, like, maybe the best example that I can use is that like you're doing something and there's definitely a fair amount of compensation for it, but you can feel like what's being asked of you is very extreme. And there can be a question of whether or not you want to keep doing that, and whether or not that feels right to you, or if it feels like it has you like suffering in some unnecessary way, or neglecting other areas of yourself, of your life, that you don't want to be neglecting. So even though you can get into a situation where it's like a fair deal, whatever it is, it can be very extreme. And so the question can be, if you want to continue indulging in something that asks that amount of things being so extreme? That can really be the question at the end of the day that you're asking yourself about this. So it's not like, am I being compensated enough? Like, is it fair? Like, do I like what I get from it? It feels like that's not what the question is. The question is about whether or not you want to keep doing something that can feel very extreme and can throw off balance in other areas of your life. So there's basically like an imbalance that you have to be within in order to sustain this. But if you come into a place of balance, this thing may not be sustainable because it's like naturally out of balance for some reason. It's like it takes up too much room or too much space in relation to other things within your life. So now you can be looking at that and you can be assessing it and being like, how do I really, like, what do I really think about this? How do I really feel about that? Because it's, whatever this is, I'm seeing it like demand a lot of you. And yes, even though you can be like, I do get what I need from it in a lot of ways, it can still be asking a lot of me. And the question is about like how you feel about that specifically. I am seeing stuff about, feels like one of two things, maybe three. Relationship wounding. So there can be something about like unhealed relational stuff that's popping up. There can also be wounding connected with you expressing yourself, which also is connected with you making choices that feel right for you. So expression connected with the throat chakra, which will be like you speaking the truth, you expressing yourself authentically, and then like whether or not your choices are like an accurate reflection of what it is that you're really feeling within. I see some type of, can be like energetic, it can be psychological, can be emotional, some type of thing that's happening right now, where there can be an exposure of stuff that's going on within you, but it's more so, it can be like in the back of your mind, or it can be more latent stuff that you're, as soon as you start focusing on it and you want to dig it up, it's stuff that can surface, but it can be like really deep psychological stuff that's coming up that influences things. And overall, this feels like it's something about going in the direction of like a better balance of things. This is a theme that I've been seeing. I will say this, some of you guys, if you're willing to, it looks like there's a really, really, really big change that you're going to go through. For some of you guys, I don't know if you're necessarily going to want to do this because it can be something that it hasn't fully come to fruition, and so there can be a part of you that feels like you don't want to do that. It can also entail to stopping feeding into something that you may like in certain ways feeding into, but there can also be like another side of things that this impacts. And so I just see overall stuff about choices being made, about the way that you're weighing things and like calculating what it is that you're doing. And ultimately, all of this is lining up in a way so that you can feel really good about the way that your life looks, because it seems like you've been on this mission for a while now. to ensure that your life feels good to you. It feels like it's on track. It feels empowering. You enjoy the way that it feels too. And so there's something that can be coming up that it's getting close to a time when you can shed this thing, whatever it might be, and that it can be part of the process for you, that this is going to have to be shed in order for you to evolve further. Otherwise, there's going to be like getting stuck on the path somewhere and not moving. And this can be something that's becoming more apparent and more obvious to you, but it can also be something that I don't know if the time has fully arrived for this to be happening yet, but you can almost feel like that's what's coming. I sort of get that from this. Okay, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.